Okay, we're going to get started in about a minute. I wanted to remind the commissioners, when you'd like to speak, please unmute yourself, state your name when you're speaking. And also, we're going to do voting on a touchscreen today. Okay. Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call to order the August 15th, 2023 Senior Citizen Commission meeting at 2:00 p.m. Do we have roll call?
Let the record show all commissioners are present except Commissioner Tobias.
And I'm going to go ahead and lead the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Today we do have a special presentation. I'd like to introduce LaTanya Reynolds from Mental Health America of San Diego County. She is a certified mental health instructor and program manager for the Mental Health First Aid Training Program. LaTanya, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. As was mentioned, my name is LaTanya Reynolds. I'm the program manager at Mental Health America for the Mental Health First Aid Training Program, and today I'm going to give you a brief presentation on mental health first aid for older adult population. So, why is mental health so important? As you guys may already know, mental health is important at every stage of life, including as we age. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It also affects how we think, feel, and act, and it also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and help make healthy choices. Mental health mental health care is in the community is good general health and social care, which is important for promoting older adults' health, preventing disease, and managing chronic illnesses. Therefore, training all service providers in working with issues and disorders that's related to aging is very critical. Effective community-level primary mental health care for older adults is very important. It is equally important to focus on the long term of older adults that's suffering from mental disorders, as well as to provide caregivers with education, training, and support. Older adults, those that's age 60 or above, make important contributions to societies as family members, volunteers, active participants in the workforce. So mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, as I mentioned in the previous slide, and it affects how we think, feel, and act, and how we cope with life. It also helps determine how we handle stress related to others and make choices. We can go ahead to the next one. Globally, the population is aging rapidly. Between 2015 and 2050, the proportions of the world's population over the 60 years of age were nearly double from 12 to 22%. Mental health and well-being are as important in our older age at any other time in our life. And approximately 15% of our adults aged 60 and older suffer from a serious mental disorder. So when I say suffer from a serious mental disorder, these are some of the warning signs that we can see that may affect some of our older adults. We may see some change in their mood or energy levels. They can have some changes in their eating or sleeping habits. They can withdraw from family or friends, activities that they enjoy. They may start feeling numb or like nothing really matters, feeling sad or hopeless. They may start to increase drinking or smoking, drinking, or using drugs more than usual. They may start to feel anger and irritable and aggressiveness, or have trouble handling finances or working with numbers. So what are the risk factors that our older adults face that may make them more at risk of developing mental health disorders? Although there are multiple risk factors for mental health problems at any point in life, Older adults may experience life stressors that are common to people, but also stressors that are more common in later life, such as reduced mobility, increased chronic pain, fertility or health problems that require long-term care. They can have a drop in socioeconomic after retirement. They may have medical conditions, physical disabilities, long-term illness such as heart disease or cancer. They may start to experience dementia that's causing illnesses such as Alzheimer's or amnesia. They may have a change in their environment, like moving into assisted livings. They may have experienced illness or loss of a loved one. They may start medication interactions, alcohol, substance abuse, or may have poor diet or malnutrition. Mental health has also have an impact on physical health, vice versa. For example, older adults with physical health conditions such as heart disease, they have a higher rate of depression than those who are healthy. Older adults are also vulnerable to elder abuse, including physical, verbal, psychological, financial, and sexual abuse, abandonment, neglect, and a serious loss of dignity and respect. Currently, evidence suggests that 1 in 6 older adults people experience elder abuse. Elder abuse can also lead to physical injuries and long-lasting psychological consequences such as depression and anxiety. Although depression can happen to any of us as we age, there are still ways we can boost how you feel and make your seniors healthy and happy. It is important to realize that depression isn't an inevitable part of getting older, nor is it a sign of weakness. Depression can happen to anyone at any age, no matter your background or accomplishments in life. Just a little bit about depression is, while depression and sadness might go hand in hand, many depressed seniors claim not to feel sad at all. They mostly complain of low motivation, lack of energy, or having physical problems. In fact, physical complaints such as arthritis pains, worsening headaches are often predominant symptoms of depression in the elderly. It is important to be aware that medical problems can cause depression in older adults and the elderly, either directly or psychologically, which is a reaction to the illness. Any chronic medical condition, particularly if it's painful, disabling, or life-threatening, can lead to depression or make your depression symptoms worse. So what are some medical conditions that can cause elderly depression? Parkinson's disease, strokes, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, thyroid disorders, vitamin B12 deficiencies, dementia, lupus, or multiple sclerosis. Symptoms of depression can also occur as a side effect of many commonly prescribed drugs. You're particularly at risk if you're taking multiple medications. While the mood-related side effects of prescription medication can affect anyone, older adults are more sensitive because as we age, our bodies become less efficient at metabolizing and processing the drugs. So anxiety and depression, and this is gonna be brief. I know I have a very limited time, but this is leading to showing how important this next piece really is. As it relates to anxiety with older adults, common fears about aging can also lead to anxiety. Many older adults are afraid of falling, being able to afford living expenses and medication, being victimized, being dependent on others, or being left alone, and even death at times. Older adults and their families should be aware that health changes can also bring about anxiety. The most common anxiety disorder among older adults is GAD, which is what we call generalized anxiety disorder. It's excessive, long-lasting, and worry about many things. In general, older adults with anxiety experience more difficulties managing their day-to-day lives than older adults with normal worries, and that they are at a greater risk of physical illness, falls, depression, disability, premature mortality, social isolation, and placement in institutions. We can go up one more slide, Ms. Goodwill. So what are medications that can cause or worsen depression? These are just a list of some of the medications that can have a set of side effect that can increase your risk of having a higher level of depression. So what can we do? While it's often a myth that at a certain age, older adults can't learn new skills, try new activities, or make fresh lifestyle changes, the truth is that the human brain never stops changing. So as older adults, we are just as capable as a young person of learning new things and adapting to new ideas that can help you recover from depression or in the most prevalent disorders. So as I mentioned, I'm from Mental Health America, and I'm a program manager for this free education training program, which is called Mental Health First Aid. It's similar to CPR, but it's a slightly different approach, which you're providing aid to a person that may be having a mental health crisis or episode. So what is mental health first aid? Mental health first aid is the help offered to a person developing a mental health problem or experiencing a mental health crisis. The first aid that we teach in our class is given until appropriate treatment and support are received or until the crisis have been resolved. The purpose of mental health first aid, it teaches the public how to recognize the signs and symptoms of the most common mental health disorders that's out there. We teach you how to offer and provide initial help and how to guide a person towards appropriate treatments and support. We also teach a 5-step action plan to help us as individuals encourage people to want to go get the appropriate professional help, but it does not teach us how to be a therapist. Why would I want you to promote mental health first aid? One, because mental health problems are very common. 1 in 5 adults suffer from a serious mental health disorder. Many people are not well informed about mental health disorders and the risk factors that's out there. Many people with a mental health problem don't seek help, or they delay seeking the help because of embarrassment and stigma that's out there. And there's a stigma that's associated with mental health problems that would prevent people from having a disorder from wanting to go to get the help. And then the main one that we stress is that professional help is not always on hand. So as regular folks like you and I, they will be the first person to approach a person to get that person to go get their appropriate professional help. And when I say approach a person, like I was speaking with Ms. Marine, a lot of people know how to talk to people, but not a lot of people know how to communicate to people. A lot of people know how to hear people, but not a lot of people know how to listen to people. And so when people find out or want to know why people don't want the help, it's not that an individual with mental health don't want the help, they don't want your help because you haven't been using the right tools. So in this training, we discuss tools such as listening and hearing. We discuss how to communicate versus talking. We discussed how to have 3 virtues, which is patience, faith, and empathy. We do role play scenarios. We do destigmatizing activities. The certification that you get after the 8-hour class is good for 3 years. And when we say certification, yes, it's a certificate. However, that person's name is entered into the National Council for Behavioral Health database as a mental health first aider. We give you a book of local resources, and then we give you additional knowledge. Because mental health covers a variety of different populations of individuals, you can't talk to a youth, and the risk factors for youth is not the same with our older adults. The same thing with military and families of militaries. So we have this module, which the action plan doesn't change. However, the approach and the scenario does change. So we have this mental health first aid training in each one of these modules. So we have it for adults. We have it for adults that's working with youth 12 to 17. We have a Spanish adult module. We have a Spanish youth module. I just did a brief presentation on the older adults problem module. We have law enforcement and first responders, veterans, military families, and then higher educations. This is how you can access the free mental health first aid trainings. We are also not only just going to each region in San Diego County to advocate for this training, but we're trying to secure advocates that can actually promote these these trainings. So I have brought some flyers for you guys to actually distribute and read, or just to help pass out the information. There's a barcode on here. They can go on here to the barcode. It'll take you to our website. The website has in-person and virtual trainings, evening and weekend trainings, and then if an individual have 10 or more, we would be more than willing to travel to that individual to provide that training to them at their location. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Angel, first of all, I'd like to thank you for a very insightful and comprehensive overview. Sign me up.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
Commissioner Koblenz, I'd like to echo that. Sign me up.
Thank you, sure will. Thank you. Thank you guys again for your time.
One more question.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you were to come to a site to do a training, you say you would need 10 people to do that?
A minimum of 10, but we can have a maximum of 25.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Ling here. I have a question for you. You talked about general anxiety disorder.
Yes, sir.
Obviously for older adults, some of the symptoms you described you could also attribute to early stages of dementia. Is there some way to tell the difference?
Well, even if it was to allude to an early stage of dementia, what we would be doing is encouraging a person to go see a physician, because what normally happens is when people have symptoms, they just dismiss those symptoms. So even if we did see that as a sign, getting that person to go to a doctor to be able to diagnose it being dementia or disorder. But guess what? Even if they were diagnosed with dementia, please be looking out for the mental disorders such as depression as well.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we are at agenda item 5, and I understand we have some speakers.
Yes, so we have 3 speakers. Each will have a chance to address the commission for 3 minutes. I'll list them in order. Deanna Manuzzi, Renee Hansen, and Joanna Gorman.
So, good afternoon. I'm Deanna Manuzzi, Encinitas Library Branch Manager, and I want to let you know that after a year, we have completed our librarians team. So here I am with new additions to our team, the Adult Services Librarian and the Outreach Librarian, and I will have them introduce themselves and let you know about everything they are doing for the Senior Citizen Commission.
Hi, my name's Renee Hansen. I'm the new Adult Services Librarian. I'm very excited to be in this position. I did work at the Encinitas Library 18 years ago when it was the old round building, as I was a very new library employee. Now I'm very seasoned and I'm happy to be back in this community. Used to live in this community, went to San Diego High School. As far as adult services, I am getting a book club going. We'll have our first meeting in October. So keep an eye out for more information on that. Hope to get some good conversations going in our community. Something else, next month we're having a seniors and screens program. I have a young volunteer who's going to be passing on her expertise on using devices and especially getting on social media and getting our older folks in the community connected via social media. Got a lot of other things going on, but that's just a little snippet of some of the fun things that we have coming in at the library. And now I will let Joanna come over.
Good afternoon. I'm Joanna Gorman, and I'm your outreach librarian for the Encinitas Library. So I'm here to support all of the programs that we have, as well as our partnerships with the City of Encinitas, as well as organizations out in the community, like doing outreach at our schools, at all of the schools, and other institutions as well. And I'm excited to be able to support Renee and our librarian team with bringing more programs for our senior customers who definitely there's a call to be asking for help for our technology and things like that. So it's great to have a service learner come on board and be able to facilitate that with our senior customers. And it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna, Renee, and Joanna.
Yes, so any questions that you might have about what we are doing for the? Yes.
We can't ask questions for this part, but it's good to know that you're there. Thank you. Okay, we are at agenda item 6, changes to the agenda. Are there any changes to today's agenda?
There are no changes to the posted agenda.
That brings us to agenda item 7, approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the June 20th, 2023 meeting minutes?
This is Commissioner Hanwett. I make a motion to approve the minutes from June 20th, 23.
Okay, Commissioner Hanwett makes the motion to approve the meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Martin. I second the motion.
Commissioner Martin seconds the motion, and let's go to vote.
The minutes are approved.
Okay, that brings us to agenda item 8. 8A is the Senior Citizen Commission Annual Work Plan. And I would like at this point, we'll start at Commissioner Martin and, I'm sorry, we'll go item by item through the annual work plan and ask for updates. So, work plan item 1, attend senior-sponsored and city-partnered local community events, serving as city ambassadors. Are there any updates?
This is Commissioner Martin. I attended Dog Days of Summer, and it was definitely an exceptional event. For me personally, I got into a car accident, but you don't need to know about that. What I did hear, and Margaret also heard, I think several times, is that we have world-class, and that was said so many times, world-class parks, and I'd have to agree.
Okay. Moving on to work plan item 2, identify guest speakers for monthly meetings to provide education regarding topics related to adults 50 plus and find platforms to disseminate the information to adults 50 plus. Any updates? Okay, work plan item 3, engages organizers and volunteers with local community service organizations and the community and senior center. Any updates for the last couple of months? So this is Commissioner Ling. I'm still doing my thing at the community center as a computer tutor and helping out with senior lunch. Work plan item 4, continue partnership with Encinitas Rotary Club and explore other Encinitas Service Club partnerships to recognize or promote the Senior Citizen of the Year and Lifetime Achievement Award. Any updates?
This is Commissioner Angel. I have been gone for a month. However, it is my intention to send out an email to the small group ad hoc committee on this particular work plan item and start discussing any and all potential changes to update the Senior Citizen of the Year, and I'll be doing that before the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Work plan item 5, create new and sustained ongoing intergenerational programming in collaboration with the Encinitas Youth Commissions and other service organizations. Any updates?
Commissioner Farley, I did try to contact the county and their intergenerational program to see if there's any like working committees or anything that I could get involved with, any ideas to have our community involved at more of a county level. So I reached out to them, and hopefully we'll be hearing back.
Okay. And I was also going to mention, early on, you were trying to spearhead the intergenerational garden, and you had contacted the Encinitas Unified School District. Do we want to keep following up on that?
Yeah, that's sort of a goal I have for this year. Now that school's back in session, I think I'll contact the district again to see if we can pick up where we left off. And also, I have a note here now that I have this contact over at the library. It sounds like she's doing some things with the youth groups there, with the adult services. So maybe I can contact her to see if there's anything we can do to coordinate with them.
Yeah. So we heard from Deanna. She just mentioned the Seniors and Screens programs. That sounds pretty interesting. Okay. And also, I believe the Youth Commission is coming back. Did they have their first meeting yet?
Manager Hamer, they will be having an orientation, and they will be meeting soon, but they have not met yet.
Okay.
School's just begun.
Yeah. So we'll circle around with them when they're ready. Let's bring us to work plan item 6, create new and sustain ongoing programs for adults 50 plus, including computer assistance, Feeling Fit Club, class offerings at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center, Encinitas Parks, and/or San Diego County Libraries and Encinitas. Any updates?
This is Commissioner Angel. Since my last attendance at this meeting some months ago, I reached out to the county related to the Feeling Fit program. So those of you who've known, this has been my passion project. It seems that the city of Encinitas does not have money in the budget to fund an employee or hire any type of employee to take on this particular position. And mindful that the county no longer provides personnel to fill these slots, it seems to me that at this time, I have had discussions with the city manager here, Manager Goodsell. I've had discussions with the individual running the Feeling Fit program. I've even considered myself volunteering and going through the training as a volunteer without any financial compensation. Based on all of this, and mindful that I also have a life, I have now come to the conclusion that I am no longer willing to pursue this Feeling Fit program after 4 years and many, many emails and conversations. Although this is bittersweet, it is a reality. And at any time in the future, should the city come up with funding and/or a volunteer willing to be trained for this position, very worthwhile position, providing evidence-based fitness programming for seniors, the county would provide any and all training for the individual, and all of the equipment would be provided to the city for that individual to provide the fitness program at no cost to senior citizens within the city of Encinitas. So I'd just like to have that on the record, that I feel like I have pursued this quite a bit over the last 4 years, and it does not seem like at this point there is a clear path forward. So unless there's something that comes up in the near future, perhaps we need to consider removing this from this particular work plan item.
So this is Commissioner Ling, and I don't think anyone can argue that Commissioner Angel has put quite a lot of time and effort into this particular activity, but not to give anything away. But I think we may end up with a handful of things to consider after we look at the survey results. So that's still a work in progress, but we'll talk about that in a moment.
Commissioner Farley, I'm sure you've explored all available resources. Is there an opportunity for this to be a grant, to be written up, a proposal for this program?
Thank you for asking that wonderful question. I am not certain that this would fall under the parameters to be eligible for a grant, so I'm not sure.
We can find out.
We can find out, and if it is, I will work tirelessly, tirelessly to ensure any and all avenues are explored for that grant to be pursued. Thank you.
This is Manager Goodsell. So generally, the grants that are written are for capital items rather than staffing. The grant would have to be sustained, and the funding would have to be ongoing in order to maintain an employee. And so that's the reason why we don't write grants for things of that nature.
This is Commissioner Angel. Again, in addition, it would seem to me if enough senior citizens in this city were to perhaps sign a petition, express their sincere interest in this evidence-based program that would be offered for free, perhaps, if enough individuals would come forward, there might be the possibility of the city looking at finding funding somehow, somewhere.
Manager Goodsell again. We do have a VIP program, the Volunteers in Purpose, on our city website. And so I would highly encourage anyone who is interested in volunteering to be a Feeling Fit instructor to register with us on the city website. And then we can go down that path and hopefully acquire an instructor that's willing to go through the specialized training.
This is Commissioner Hanwit. Just one more point. I wonder if there's any way to find out how many Feeling Fit programs are happening even in the county using the video. Because we do that at High Country Villas, and we have a substantial number of people that come once a week and use the video. But of course, that's never the same as having a live person. And maybe the people that are already using the video would love to see a live person and could promote that.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanwit. I have an answer to that because I have explored that. The county would be very happy to provide a video at no cost to the county. Again, it would require someone who's trained because there needs to be someone willing to put forth the hours to show the video and then monitor it and start the video and stop the video. So it would seem that there might still be a volunteer position opportunity that could be filled. And I would reference what Manager Goodsell just said, that there are many, many volunteers out there, and hopefully one will come forward.
Okay, let's move on to Work Plan Item 7. Leverage participation in Age Well San Diego 2.0 conversations to create recommendations and programs that can directly affect the adult 50-plus community in Encinitas. Any updates?
This is Commissioner Hanwit. I attended the Age Well Housing Committee meeting on July 6th, and it focused on homelessness, and I had a speaker. They discussed the point-in-time data, which was interesting since we had participated in that. And it's available online. And I'd be happy to share the link with anybody if you haven't seen it already. It's very interesting.
Okay. Anyone else? Work Plan Item 8, explore grant funding opportunities based on community needs and survey results. Any updates? Not today. Agenda Item 9, develop and conduct a survey for adults 50+ to gain insight into programs and services for this demographic.
This is Manager Goodsell. We have a separate agenda item for that, so we can move right along and then come back to that.
Okay. Moving on to work plan item 10, research best practices as it relates to adult 50-plus issues and send letters of support as needed to city council and commissions. Any updates?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Hanwitt. This ad hoc committee has agreed to create a letter regarding the permitting process that I talked about at, I guess it was our last meeting in June. And since I'd had personal experience with the effort of getting a permit through the city, I went ahead and created a letter which was attached to the agenda items, and the ad hoc committee members approved it. And so we're at the point where the next thing that would happen is that it would be sent to the mayor and the city council. So I guess we're looking for approval of this letter. And maybe somebody wants to make a motion one way or the other.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the letter.
Commissioner Farley's made the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Commissioner Angel seconds. Do we get to vote?
The motion passes.
Motion passes. Do you need to have a fresh copy printed out for signatures, or?
I don't, it's your signature.
Okay. I've got my pen ready, so whenever we want to do that. Okay, that is, anything else for that particular work plan item?
That's it.
Okay, so let's move on to agenda item 8B, which is to present a summary of the Adult 50-Plus Programs and Activities Survey. And I believe Commissioner Koblenz will do that.
I think we are really, really happy with what we've been able to accomplish. Do we have it anywhere? Do we have it up? Can we show it? It's up. There we go. We met yesterday, the ad hoc committee met yesterday, and quickly went through each slide. Can we just real quickly go through each slide? And I think this was one of our best slides ever. And before we go too far, I do want to shout out to the staff and to Carolina in particular to give us this visual, because it not only helps me, I think it helps most of us look at this. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Overall, people are enjoying the senior center. We're doing a very, very good job. We are noticing that it definitely shows up age-wise and how we go about doing our activities. So I think the first slide, it just tells us where we are and how we're going. Can we go to slide 2? This is the one that we had the most fun with. Not a surprise, we live in a world that we have so many options that we need to be reminded. And we have decided, I think overall, not only with the city, but with the committee, that it's about publicity promotion. So it's not only us, and that's an important part, us sitting here and our citizen to start to let people know what we have. We're going to dig deeper into the survey and slice it a little bit, because you'll see that, number one, they're not aware of the classes, not interested in available classes, but that's okay. And then programming for much older adults. We're still working on the much older adults and using labels, but we'll fix that. So this is what we know. We know they want classes. We know they want education. We know they want to be involved. And we're going to start looking a little deeper, slice it a little bit more, so that, as Commissioner Lang said, we will be able to provide something for everybody. Next slide, please. I love this slide. This is my favorite slide, because it shows how well the senior center and community center is doing. And we're doing well. We're doing really, really well. If you look at The most obvious is fitness and exercises classes. They love that. They love it says senior lunches, but we now call it the Oak Crest Cafe. And then we go down to the bottom and it talks about other. This is where we want to explore what is the other, who is the other, and how do we serve them. I think the social dance and live music is also very important. We know not only is it important because it's fun, but it's important physically and mentally. So overall, this slide, I think, gives us a very, very good overall as to how the senior center and community center is doing. Next slide, please. This is my second favorite slide. We know when. We're not sure exactly, particularly what our seniors want. We are going to explore more. We do know that the senior excursions, I was talking to two people over at the senior center yesterday, and they really want more excursions. So we'll go ahead and we'll play with that. Next slide, please. One more time, they love the yoga. They like the dance. They want more art classes, which is fun, and health and exercise. This was encouraging to me because, again, seniors are looking at health and exercise, and they're looking at education, and that, as our speaker told us today, is very, very important for the mental health, and we're looking at the whole aspect of it. Okay, next slide, please. This is a great slide, and please don't be concerned that people don't want to become a volunteer, because it's a series, it's a step. You participate, you become involved, and you get interested, and then you want to do more. And after you do more, then you want to make more changes and become more fully involved. So actually, this is a really good place to start. You got to get them in the door. Got to show them what you have, and then allow them an opportunity to be part of that. Next slide, please. My favorite. I think our biggest discussion with this slide is renaming who we are and how we relate to each other. I was surprised at the 76 and up, to be honest with you, because I thought those people were older. And then we noticed that the 50 to 55 is a very small part. So I think we'd like to include them in different levels so that as a community, again, our speaker told us how much the senior citizen population is going to increase by 2050. I think we need to be ready for that. Next slide, please. A big surprise to me. I thought they were closer, but they're not. The other thing that we find very, very, very interesting is, again, how far they're willing to come, which means, one more time, it would serve us to increase our promotion and publicity. There we go. Next slide, please. Another big one. They drive here. Pretty much they drive here. Pretty much they drive here. Next slide, please. Okay. These are just some wonderful comments that were picked, and you can read them yourself. But what I really like that shows, again, how we, quote unquote, market ourselves is the last one. No, third one. The senior offers some good programs. We're happy that city supports our older community. My wife and I, while 75, are very active hikers and travelers, and we are not yet ready for, quote, senior life. Keep up the good work. So a big takeaway, senior life needs to be re-identified, and I think that's kind of up to us. We're very excited. Very, very excited. We're not done. This is a starting point, so there's going to be a lot more. That's what I have. Ad hoc, anything you guys want to add?
Commissioner Martin, the last one actually did say the same thing in the sense of not used to the idea of being a senior yet. So there is a lot still in that label. And I think the chair had some comments about that.
So my only comment is that I think we get into trouble when we try to segregate by age. We should really be looking at segregating by activity instead. There are very, very active seniors in their 70s and 80s, and then there are very sedentary ones who are probably in their 60s. So rather than try to identify age categories for the classes and the activities, we need to find a different way to present it. So that's one of our takeaways. I think there's a lot of other things we can do to look at the data, and we can ask questions. If you guys have questions about the survey, we can probably figure out a way to filter and sort the information to get answers to you guys as well.
Commissioner Koblenz, thank you, Commissioner Lambert. I also want to add, not only do we welcome it, everyone that's hearing this and is involved is part of us developing this program, and the diversity and the different age groups is what's going to really allow the senior and the community center to move forward as a whole and not just one or the other, which is what the goal is. And because we live in a different world where Chair Lambert was talking the other day, 40 is, or 50 is the new 30 or something, I think there's validity to that. I'd like to believe that that's actually true for all of us, but that's the point, is it's not true for all of us. And that's where, up until now, we have had a tendency to look at the stereotypes and say, well, this is this and this is that. And that was true then. But guess what, guys? This is now, and this is where we need to be. So I'm excited. I welcome any comments from anybody. If you guys have friends and they want to call me or talk to us, we're here because that's how we can make this better.
Commissioner Martin, there was one comment that came up yesterday when the ad hoc came together, and that was that the travel industry already uses the model of your activity level in order to pool what people can do. And certainly, we don't have to reinvent the wheel entirely. There is already a model right in front of us.
Okay. Thank you, Ad hoc Committee. I'm going to move on to Agenda Item 9A. Manager Goodsell, you have an operations report for us?
I do. Thank you, Chair Ling. There were 553 meals provided at the Senior Nutrition Program in June, and 227 rides were given. 429 meals were provided at the Senior Nutrition Program in July, and 185 rides were given. If you want to mark your calendars for some upcoming nutrition events, they include the August 24th Roaring 20s theme party, September 27th Play Ball Sports theme party, September 1st Birthday Sundays, and September 19th is bingo. There were a total of 669 non-nutrition participants registered for programs in June, and 741 in July, and these include all the fee-based classes as well as the free senior programs. You may have seen the fall recreation guide. It's out and now available, and it covers the months of September through December. We had our first day of registration on Monday, and we had a lot of the senior citizens sign up for the Silver Age Yoga program in person. The next social dance will be held this Friday on August 18th at 2 p.m. And the theme is Bon Voyage with the music by the Peer Group, and it's being sponsored by PACE, who is one of our speakers. And that stands for Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. And I'd also like to announce that we have a new recreation supervisor that's starting on August 21st, which is Monday. She has over 20 years of experience working with senior citizens and adults with disabilities. She worked for the City of Vista as a recreation coordinator for senior services and at NCTD as the ADA program administrator. She has extensive experience working in programs designed to promote independence for older adults. She is also highly skilled in grant development, management, and compliance, as well as employee management. The supervisor will be responsible for senior and adult programs and services, including senior nutrition and transportation, new program development, volunteer management, and social dances. I will invite her to the next senior commission meeting to introduce herself to you in person. And if you'd like to meet her sooner, you're more than welcome to come up to the center and say hello. We're very excited to have this person join our team on Monday. We also have a new senior nutrition van driver joining the team on Monday as well. He has extensive experience driving a 55-passenger bus for children, as well as restaurant management and customer service skills. So he's going to fill 2 roles for us. He's going to drive for the senior nutrition program, and he's also going to help out at the community and senior center front counter. And that concludes my operations report. Do you have any questions for me?
No? Thank you.
Thank you.
Manager Hamer, you have department updates for us?
Manager Hamer, yes, here are some brief updates. Summer programs and activities were a great success this past season. From summer camps to concerts, there were approximately 5,600 registrations, over $1 million in revenue collected, and that includes our junior lifeguard program, which is quite popular and successful. These are numbers that have increased since pre-COVID, so that's really exciting overall that we are now surpassing pre-COVID numbers. We still need to work in the adults 50 plus category for numbers, but we know that's one of our goals here and why we did the survey. So thank you for leading that. We also launched July is Parks and Recreation Month. And so during that launch within stories, we had over 4,000 followers and non-followers and 351 likes. So we felt that was a lot of fun and something we want to do annually for the month of July. July 1st, a new mobility manager position was approved by City Council and added to the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Department. So we are also overseeing mobility. There was a recruitment, and our fine Nick Buck, who is the special events and project supervisor, received that promotion. So kudos and congratulations to Nick. And now that position is open, and we're recruiting for that currently. What's special about that is it's going to be, marketing and promotions, and so we will definitely be taking in the senior category and working with them on branding, marketing, and looking to enhance that. So that is up and coming. As Christy stated, the fall guide has now launched. Registration opened yesterday. We've already received 453 registrations, and that is going to be growing. One item that our department is overseeing, and I'm overseeing directly, is our athletic field use and allocation policy. We'll be taking that to the Parks and Recreation Commission and City Council, hopefully this year. The City Council, June 28th, did approve the fees and refund policies, so those also launched August 14th. It used to be 5 days notice before the program start, and now it's 10, and there's a couple different tiered differences, so every opportunity we can, we're trying to let customers know that it's now twice as long. And that is a pretty standard thing, because otherwise you get a lot of last minute requests for refunds, and then you can't fill your classes and give everybody the opportunity. A few upcoming cultural events. We have the Wednesdays at noon. That is every Wednesday at noon at the community room at the library. It's very popular. We encourage everybody to join. We also have the last Moonlight concert, which is Sunday, August 20th. I know some of you will be helping. That's got the silent comedy from 3 to 5 and a teen band called the Donna Drive. That's 1 to 2. And I have seen them, and they are great. So don't discount them just because they're teens. They really play some great classic music. We also have an art night coming up. That'll be September 9th. And for anyone who hasn't attended before, it's at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center, City Hall, and the Encinitas Library, and they provide free shuttles throughout. At all these different events, we encourage volunteers, our VIPs, and this is, again, another another opportunity for older adults to engage in the different activities that we offer. We have a movie in the park we're planning for October 14th as well, if any of you are interested in helping with that planning. And last but not least, wanted to make sure you received that notice. I know Manager Goodsell had sent that regarding the Fall Encinitas Academy. Those are 6 sessions that give you an opportunity to learn more about the municipal government, and our department will be leading session 5, where they can learn more about what Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts offers, and now with the addition of mobility. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Hamer. We are at agenda item 10, commission member initiated agenda items. Do we have any commission member initiated agenda items? Not today. Agenda item 11, future agenda items added by commission members. Are there any agenda items that the commissioners would like to add for next time? No? That brings us to agenda item 12, commission reports. This is a roundtable for all the commissioners. We'll start at the end with Commissioner Martin and work our way this way.
I don't know if this is a report so much as that email that came regarding the academy. I didn't know what it was, and so I knew that the academy was the high school in town. And so I'm going, wow, why didn't they just sort of send a link about the high school and they're back in session or something? And then I said, well, maybe I'm not reading this really well. I guess my point being, maybe the next time something like that goes out, to start out with a blurb of, here's your opportunity to learn more about the ins and outs of the city and how they work. Love to have you see the link below. So, but I love the idea. Thank you.
Commissioner Koblenz.
Commissioner Koblenz, I left for each of you a flyer for North County Veteran Stand Down, and I think it's just as significant for us as seniors to recognize that those experiencing the situations for our military that, okay, I'm partial, I have a Purple Heart son-in-law, have really written a blank check, and we need, I believe, to do our best to give back. Lots of opportunities. The biggest opportunity that exists is to getting vets there. If you know vets or know service people, they want to serve their fellow service people first. They don't want to say yes. So please pass that out. I'll have more information. You know, it's kind of what I think we all need to do, and it just helps us. So on another note, I was at the concert at the park with the kids, with the bands. It was very fun, lots and lots of activity, and I was amazed at how people really did engage and just play. And I saw a teen band that they weren't classical, but they were really, really good. And I don't think they're anything else except for, I'm really glad school's back, because it allows me a chance to kind of sort of move forward and realize now I missed being here. I think we all work, but I missed being here, so that's it.
Commissioner Farley.
I was interested in this VIP program that is it Volunteers in Purpose? Is that what it is? Is that a new program or?
Manager Hamer, it did start, there was a volunteer program that had been pre-COVID that was needing to be rebuilt. And so we launched it in April, which is National Volunteer Month, and tried to give it some shape and form to really grow the program. We have close to 100 people who have registered, and I know it really filled the hole on our nutrition program and lunch program, because they were looking for volunteers for that, and now we are booked and we have people in backup and on waiting lists in Plan B. But it is something we're looking to grow, hopefully with this new supervisor on board, really have it be more interactive and more engaging. There's opportunities for different things to be added, like the Feeling Fit Club or a walking club or some different things, if we can find volunteers who will make the commitments to the time. So it's new, but not brand new.
Okay, my question is there like a deadline when people need to apply? It's an ongoing program that if you want to volunteer with the city, you just go into this application process? Okay.
Yes, there's a webpage on the city's webpage, and I can send that to everybody as a follow-up. And there's an online application. There's a software called Fullgistics, which intakes people's information, and then we post different assignments. So like the next assignment would be assisting and volunteering at the Moonlight Concert on August 20th. Another one is the art night. We've had volunteers help with the shuttles. So we put the assignments in there, and then they can pick them up. The only one that is unique that needs training is our lunch program, the Oak Crust Cafe, because that's a little bit more involved, and it's a weekly commitment. And we have found for any of you, if you have to commit every week, it's a more difficult assignment to have because people go on vacations and they're busy. But these one-off where it's just the special event, it's the art night, they're only 4 times a year, we find that people are very interested in helping with those.
Okay, sorry for all the questions, but my wheels are turning because we're doing this intergenerational program, and I know that kids need hours, some service hours. Is there any way to get service hours through this program, through the city? Like if we were to go to the youth group to try to get them to volunteer for some of these programs to get service hours?
So yes, we do work with the Youth Commission on recruiting for that, and we do provide letters if students need those. And we did have some student volunteers. I believe we had one young person who helped lead the bingo. Bingo's only once a month, but that's still a slot that we haven't had a big enough commitment for. But yes, younger either students or young adults are a great accent to just build in some natural intergenerational opportunities.
So just in closing, I think I would like to possibly, when we do go to this youth commission, that this is something that we bring to them and maybe talk about some of the programs that we need volunteers for to fulfill some of the senior activities.
And I'm pretty sure the youth commissioners all have a community service requirement that they need to fulfill. So this is one way to do it, is by volunteering.
Yes, Manager Hamer, just to add to that, the challenge with students is that they are at school full-time. So usually, I know with the techie help type of programs, it's usually a Saturday or evenings, and most focused senior programs often are during the day, that 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. But once again, if we have the time, summer, when students are out of school, that lends opportunity. So definitely, this is an area we can continue to work, develop, and grow.
Commissioner Angel?
Yes, well, first, just to share that I had a lovely 30-day vacation in Israel, back fresh, relaxed, and raring to go. Commissioner Koblenz, thank you for this wonderful handout. I did plan to touch base on this stand down. As a veteran myself, I wholeheartedly support this. I've been engaged with the stand down for years. And just one thing to clarify, if I might, the stand down typically is not geared towards active duty military. It is geared towards veterans. So I just wanted to clarify that. All of these services are provided at no cost to veterans. I believe it was presented as something for military overall, and I just wanted to clarify so that we have an informed decision when we go forward and ask and disseminate the information. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Hanwit?
Well, I have a couple of things to mention. First of all, I want to thank Commissioner Ling for sharing the article about the North County San Diego Food Project with Manager Goodsell, who then dispersed it to the commission. It was exciting to get that in the paper, and I kept putting it off thinking how do I get that in there? And then I just thought, well, I'm just going to walk into the offices and say, are you interested in hearing about a great human interest story? And that was like on a Tuesday, and by Friday, it was in the electronic version. I mean, it just happened immediately. So we did have an open house last Saturday, and it was a small turnout, but I like to think that I can handle a small turnout better than hordes of people coming in and saying they want to be a part of this, and everybody has a contact. And my long-term goal is to be able to expand this because it's so easy, and it can make such a difference, and it can be for any age, and it can be for youth. And it's especially helpful for people who are older, because it does help with social isolation and gives you a feeling like you're doing something in the community. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit. I can write grants for it, and it's it's moving on. So that's the update with that. And if you have any questions about it, or you stumble across somebody who you think might have an interest in starting it wherever they live, just let me know. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about was the village movement, because it's been like 3 or 4 months at least since Amy Stuck and Chris Crowley came here and talked in our public comment time, and there's been quite a bit of progress made. What's happened is that there's a small leadership team that has stuck with it and that meets every week, twice a month. We meet with the people from the California Village Movement, and we are officially an incubator project, and we are also officially Village Encinitas. So there is now a village in Encinitas. Not that we are offering much, because it's in the very beginning stages, but it does have a website, and of course the goal is aging in place and figuring out how to make sure that everybody is receiving the services that they need, or is helping their neighbors with things that they're able to do in order to be able to share their skills. So there were initial costs, but we were also, I was able to snag the very nice gentleman who owns the company called Partner in Aging that sponsors the food project and pays for all the bags and the cards. And he said that he would like to be a sponsor and is covering the operating expenses for the first year, which are probably close to $1,000, because there will be a platform that will match volunteers with requests. And finally, we decided that High Country Villas, because it's so self-contained and has so many people, was a good place to start as a pilot project. If we could figure out how to do it there, we could do it all over Encinitas without a problem. So we had a meeting about a month ago, and over 50 people showed up, which, take it from me, is miraculous, because you don't, unless it's happy hour, you don't usually see that. So we were very encouraged, and people are very anxious to help each other and to find out what's out there that would help them, because they don't know about services. So many people have said, oh, I wish we had transportation available. Well, we do have transportation available. So, that's for the future. So High Country Villas will be a pilot program. We have another meeting scheduled with High Country Villas for September 6th, and it's moving on. So that's the update with that, and I'll keep you posted. I mean, eventually, as we go down the road, there's a definite need for coordination with the senior center and helping people to be able to get over there and to know what's there, and I just know that's all going to happen.
Thank you. So I just wanted to mention, in the context of youth volunteers, so over the summer, we had in our computer lab a high school student who was helping seniors with their computer and device issues. Now, he's back in school, but that was the first time for us to have a summer volunteer, I think, in that capacity. So it's doable. These are some things that we can do. I think the Youth Commission last year was very, very responsive to looking at intergenerational activities with us, and I'm hoping that this year is the same. Okay. With that, I would like to say that the August 15th, 2023 Senior Citizen Commission meeting is hereby adjourned. at 3:08 p.m. Thank you, everyone.